Welcome back to Dark Side of the Ring Unheard, the podcast from the hit Vice TV series that takes you deep into Dark Side's archives of hundreds of hours of interviews with giants of the industry, with some of its most beloved, some of its most reviled. I'm Jack Encarnacio, and this is JP Sorrow from the Lapsed Fan Wrestling Podcast, and we're joined, of course, by Evan Husney, co-creator and executive producer of Dark Side of the Ring.
Thank you.
Dark Side of the Ring Season 6 resumes, of course, Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Vice, as we take a look at Mr. USA Tony Atlas, an Adonis-like strongman, one of the top babyface wrestlers of the 70s and 80s, who squandered that stardom in a lot of ways to homelessness, but has also proved more resilient than you can imagine. And we first got to know about Tony as part of the episode you folks did, Season 1, The Murder of Bruiser Brody.
The very first episode we ever did, the pilot. Yeah, Tony also was our very first interview that we ever did for the show. Yep. And there was a lot of build up to that. We talked about it last season on Unheard. We talked about Tony Atlas and some of the gems in there. And now coming back around for a full treatment on just Tony Atlas. Of course, key to that episode was also the madman from the Sudan. Abdullah the Butcher is our focus this week on Unheard, who has sat for your cameras for not only an episode about his own story and his own trajectory coming into the wrestling business, but also the Bruiser Brody murder. You had to win his trust, though. Yes.
Having looked at the
That's an understatement.
Having looked at the interviews, he definitely starts out as guarded about talking to you too much about who he really is, because Abdullah the Butcher, boss, of course, is one of these guys who has made his bones making you think he's a complete psychotic madman who will start stabbing you and who can't string together a sentence and is just deeply disturbed.
Well, for me, I'd never seen him before. And so, but when I first became a wrestling fan back in 1991, and I first learned that there were wrestling magazines outside of the WWE magazine, that's when I was first introduced. And I'll tell you, there is a magic that is lost in today. The way the magazines would just enhance your imagination as to what these guys were. So I would see Abdullah the Butcher, and he's frightening to me. Like when you actually see his matches, it's not as frightening as you imagine it to be when you're reading these magazines and they're showing the most gruesome shots. The Moondogs, the same way. Like the Moondogs terrified me because of the aftermags and stuff like that. And that's how I came to know about Abdullah the Butcher. I'm pointing to this fucking figure as I'm saying it. That's
a prototype.
He's here.
Right.
Of him wielding the spike.
And so he's legendary to me. Yeah. Not because of what I saw, but because of what I imagined.
And that's so big. He's shrouded in mystery, Evan, because for most of his career, he said virtually nothing on the microphone. Right. His managers did all the talking. He was supposed to be this wild man. So to be able to get him to sit down for hours to talk about his story is such a departure from how he made his living.
That's right. Because in reality, he's from Windsor, Ontario. Right, which is just so wild, just given everything you've seen and heard of him over the years. But in terms of believability, and in terms of that this guy is just his presence and his aura and how scary he is in all the footage that you see. I mean, back in I think it was in the 80s, they would release VHS home videos of his matches and market them like horror movies. Yeah. If you've seen it before, because they're always bloody and gruesome and things like that. But yeah, someone from his era that actually goes back. I think his first match was in 59, I want to say.
Sounds
1959.
Right. Yeah.
So someone who comes from that era when wrestling was so protected, all of its secrets and everything, and especially from a guy, you protect it from a guy with a camera, so forget about it. So he comes from that old school, protect the business, work everybody mindset. And so for us to come in to get this very real story about Bruiser Brody. Now, Our pilot episode is about, his murder. It's a very real, harrowing story. We're not looking, necessarily for him to, I don't know. It's a very real story, and yet he's still so guarded about the secrets of wrestling. But the secrets of wrestling are germane to that story because the sort of fantasy world of wrestling would spill out into the courtroom and into the real true crime case of Bruiser Brody's killing. So it was important for us to understand how audiences perceive Brody as this larger than life villain antagonist right? But that's not real,
Right.
Because the courtroom used, Brody's portrayal as this, just like aggressive,
rampaging monster
against him,
Yes.
to get his killer off, right?
on self-defense.
On
Like,
self-defense.
if someone looking like this
Yeah.
who carried on like this in the ring came at you, wouldn't you feel justified in stabbing him in the stomach, which is what happened.
Exactly. So we're in this tricky position where we're trying to get our subjects to explain that nuance,
Right.
but Abdullah is absolutely the last person that's going to do it. And especially the people he just met, right?
Yes, that's it.
So
Right.
so for us, now we've known him for years, and as we'll see, we're going to look at more contemporary footage of him, and he's much more willing to open up in front of us because we got to know him. But before this, in the early days, it was like, fuck these kids,
Yeah.
and so
Just another bunch of guys.
Yeah,
that can
right.
Skim a few Benjamins off of. Yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah, again, as we'll talk about, I mean, Abdullah the Butcher's history of working to put some money in his pocket goes all the way back to boyhood, which is touched on in the episode, both that you did about his life and some of these archived clips. Now, he's also the tie-in to Tony Atlas is not just the Brody murder scene. They were both there for it when it happened in Puerto Rico in 1988. But also, Tony Atlas owes a lot to Abdullah the Butcher because in Georgia Championship Wrestling in about 1980, the way Tony Atlas tells the story, he's in the ring saving someone from an Abdullah the Butcher spike attack, and Abdullah calls for a slam. He says, "Slam me."
Wow.
And he picked up and slammed Abdullah the Butcher on nationwide TBS. And
didn't happen all that often.
No, you didn't take it to Abdullah. You had to be a super.
I don't think I've ever seen Abdullah the Butcher leave his feet.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was so very rare, and he was his proportions were such that he was putting a lot of damage on his body if he went up like that for you. You didn't have to do it. He just had to walk around and stab people in the head with whatever little weapon he could smuggle into the ring.
Wendy's forks, as we mentioned earlier on this season of Unheard.
That's right.
He lived off the land, as Mick Foley put it.
Right.
Can you imagine being one of the victims of that, and like you get like a piece of like a broken plastic fork stuck in your head.
Sure, it's happened.
So we're going to start with an impactful clip, and you might recognize a little bit of this clip because when Abdullah is introduced on the Bruiser Brody murder episode, he does say some of the things that we're about to hear, but the walk up to it and just being able to train your focus on the look on his face the whole time really gets us where we need to be. This is you trying to get him to talk about what a gimmick even is in wrestling, which is a little too much of an insider term even for him. And as you're pushing here, this is clip 8, he just starts turning it around on you and starts basically threatening people in the room because he doesn't really like that you're asking him to answer these questions about the inner workings of the business.
Now, this is something, as we'll see, like, again, this is our third ever interview for the show that we ever did. So we're pretty fucking green at doing this and working with wrestlers and getting them to open up. So I remember we were working with a producer at the time who wanted us to get definitions of all of these kind of insider terms, just in case we needed them for the show, because that's a big part of wrestling, right? And so I'm pretty graceless in my asking of what's a gimmick,
Right.
I mean, I cringe looking at this, but because now there's a much better way to articulate why we're looking for this or what we was.
Right.
So it's very funny to look back at like me, who in this moment, everything I knew as a kid of Abdullah the Butcher, I was so fucking intimidated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you've heard the stories of him, taking forks out and putting them to the foreheads of other fucking journalists over the years and being really cantankerous and non-cooperative. And so I don't know what I was getting into. I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but he fleeced me for some money prior to this. So, you could have made an episode about us being in this house at the time. So anyway, but this is very illustrative of the whole experience.
It really is.
What clip is this?
Well, we're going to start here. Clip number 8.
Number 8.
And Abby's going to be giving us a little glimpse. This is, again...
Look at this.
Look at him.
Look at this.
Look at him.
And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into the forehead scars as much as we possibly can. Let's not get too deep now.
This is just, out of context is incredible. Yeah. Okay. So ready? Should we do it? Okay. Here we go. This is indicative of our experience working with Abby. What is a gimmick in wrestling?
A gimmick? A gimmick. Brody, if you heard this, what would you tell these guys? Are they trying to find out our business? He already asked me about the heel and the baby face. Now he's trying to come and ask me a question about a gimmick? If you were here, Brody, what would you do to him? Would you tear the camera up? Would you beat the shit out of them?
How good is he?
He's really good here. This is the best he's ever been.
Oh shit!
But
You can see how he could convince people that he's about to go nuts. at
I'm
any
terrified.
I know.
Look into his eyes.
I mean, no, I don't want to. I mean,
Because he's already given away the whole I don't talk, right? He's been talking to you for an hour or whatever now.
right.
And you could tell he's got that Canuck accent. It kind of takes away from it, but he's still able, even with a smile,
Yeah.
to dial in with those eyes
Yeah.
and make you afraid.
Oh, he's
That's the art.
Yeah, there's definitely the devil there.
And it's amazing.
Holy
Like,
shit.
yeah, should I beat him up? Or not?
And he's calling to Brody, his fallen comrade.
I know.
About who-
Posthumously.
Right.
Summoning him.
Is dark as fuck.
What should I do to a couple of kids who come into my house and ask me what a gimmick is?
Oh, God, so embarrassing. All right, here we go.
I don't tell my business. I'm a professional. You can talk to all these other guys. They will tell you, but not Abdullah the Butcher.
How fucking great is that?
Were you guys like?
And you can tell, you can hear me. Oh yeah, amazing the expression here. But you can tell I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like you sound petrified.
Back it up
back
a second. Okay. What I want you to focus on is when he realizes that you're not going to drop it.
yes,
His eyes go to the left or to whatever side this is.
yeah.
And as if to say, what the fuck? Like, I got to keep. All right, fine. Do you want me to double down?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll double down. Watch the eyes.
Okay, here we go.
Guys, they will tell you, but not Abdullah the Butcher.
Were you guys like?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like, I got to go again.
He's like, he didn't fucking learn.
Yep. Oh, look. I mean, look. That's his moneymaker right there.
Listen, am I gonna have to eat these motherfuckers?
Here we go.
Holy shit!
Let's listen to it.
Did you have lots of pressure back then to keep your secrets in?
To keep what?
Did you guys have a lot of pressure?
No, we were businessmen. Why would we tell you your business? What am I going to tell you? Oh, I'm this, I'm that. I've been with this girl, or I've been with this guy, or something like that.
But like you'd have to say like
And then here's my partner in crime here, Jason Eisner, trying to come in for the save because we're like, what are we?
I can feel it.
Where is this going? This is going to get a little intense, right? And he's obviously not happy. All right, so here we go. Let's see if Jason can save this.
like a football player would tell us like how to like do football moves, or a hockey player would.
I don't know if that's
football moves?
It's not going to work.
I don't think that's the right football moves. I mean, you could hear you can sense the fear in Jason's voice there. Football
That's
moves.
fear in me.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
Tell us what slap shots, checking.
I can beat you up any time that I want to beat you up. You understand?
Oh,
And the guy behind the camera, he's asking me these questions. I'll beat him up if I had to. Give me the fork so I can stab it all in his head. Then you'll know who Abdullah the Butcher is.
Then you'll know, JP. Go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, I'd run. I'd be gone. I'd be like, thank you,
And this
sir.
guy can't. This guy's immobile. It's before he had hip surgery. You can't
I
move.
wouldn't
yeah,
fucking
no,
care.
he couldn't.
Still
he,
able
yeah,
to convince you
Yeah,
that he might act up.
I know, and and the whole day, and I'm sure we'll get into the night before when we kind of tried to break the ice with him. We just didn't know what we were getting into, and it was scarier than we anticipated in some ways. But it's like, also you have to picture that, just to put this in full context, there was probably a year almost of buildup into getting this pilot off the ground, like pitching it, developing it, working with people to make sure it's like all the buildup to getting to finally spend the money in film. It's a lot of hoops you got to jump through, right? So we do all that. And then here we are, and oh shit, this is what this really is going to be like.
Yeah.
And again, this is a story from like the Brody stories from this era, You know, it's from back, you know, in the 70s and 80s era. And these are the guys who are the most protective over wrestling. And so each interview, like Tony's and to this and Dutch, it was all a different, navigating these different, very difficult personalities, but also like we have to check ourselves. Like we can't just come into this with a piece of paper and questions on it.
Yes.
You know, you got to learn how to navigate something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, in his mind, you know, these guys could be making a documentary about how it was all foolish and how it was all fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not a proven entity.
Right.
We don't know. And that's historically what had happened. There have been
You could be-
exposés and people who are making wrestling look stupid. He doesn't know, you know, how we're going to portray it. So fair point.
Well, JP, the forehead scars. Go ahead.
I mean, they're these deep ravines, just like on the top of his head. You know, it looks like it reminds me of the Canyon of the Crescent Moon in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where the fucking there's a holy grail in his head somewhere, in the crevices and the
And does that not pay for itself over time? I mean, this guy will be able to make money off that forehead. And, you know, I mean,
what? And we don't know, right? We don't know what caused those.
Well, we're going to get into that, aren't we?
well,
Okay.
this is all we know is what he would say if you asked him.
Right.
Because, like, I mean, to me, there is a big device that has caused those deep gashes.
Right. Not just your typical wrestler
No.
cutting himself with a razor blade.
No, it's like a machete when it came down. Like
It's often
fucking
said that
Jason Voorhees. In there.
it's often said that in Puerto Rico, where he did a lot of his bloodiest matches, that the technique wasn't to slice left to right, but to slice up and down. But still doesn't explain the depth.
I have a theory.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Well, do we want to get into the...
Yeah, let's save the theory to after the clip. That's a great idea. Let's go to clip 6. So, of course, you got to ask him the question. And here he is.
This is many years later.
This is season 4 episode on him.
Yeah, we did an episode about Abdullah. He was the subject of his own episode, which would have been unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
And actually, when we did the season 1 interview, he specifically said, I will not answer any questions about myself.
Wow.
Only
because-
only Brody.
Only Brody, because, you know, a worker's going to work.
Yep.
You know, he knew that would be worth separate money.
Yes.
You know?
That's
of
why.
course.
That's a separate pay
Yeah.
you know, for that.
Yes.
So
That's not what you're here for. You're not going to get that for the price of admission for Brody Insights.
Oh,
Right.
of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is a different Abby. You know, this is Abdullah a few years ago.
And I'll also say,
Yeah.
he doesn't just touch on the forehead scars here. He also touches on an old trick that he used to do in wrestling where he would eat money. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
His manager, Eddie Creechman or whoever, would open a briefcase and he would take cash and he would eat it on television. Because the idea was he would eat anything because he was just this complete savage aborigine guy.
Raw chicken liver. You know, you see some of it in the Brody episode, but it's truly disgusting.
Yeah.
And anyone watching it at the time would believe that this guy literally is
That's why he did it,
insane.
to get you to believe that. So when he
Yeah.
starts talking about money and all that, know that that's what he's referring to. But he starts talking about those ravines, those
Oh boy.
those deep caverns of trauma.
Okay. Yeah, this is, you know, wrestling's version of this is like wrestling hieroglyphics.
Yes, very much.
It is the road.
There's a story here.
It's a story
The
there.
proof left behind on the cave wall.
There
that
you go. Right.
Something happened here.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Okay, here we go.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Well, while we're on that subject, tell us, like, obviously, everyone knows you from the scars you have.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to us where these scars are from and that you have on your forehead.
Again, I haven't gotten less. There's not that wasn't that graceful.
But he's not looking to kill you.
No, he's not
No,
looking to
not
kill
yet.
me.
And he's got his dentures in too.
No, he does. And he's lost considerable amount of weight.
Yep.
You know, he had to get that off the hip and everything. But it's so funny. It's like, can you tell us about the scars on your forehead? It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh, this is painful. Okay, here we go.
Well, that part I don't want to tell that. I don't want to tell the secret.
You can't reveal all the secrets.
No, I can't.
So there's a secret behind this.
They can tell. One time I went to a doctor and the doctor says, "Oh," he says, "I said I'm a wrestler." He says, "Yeah, you're a wrestler, but these scars came from something else, you know," and that was it.
Wow.
And that was it.
See?
Wow.
because they're all straight. See?
And is,
So that's like a little. What is he? That's like a little hint.
A little bit. He's kind of saying, I think what he's trying to do there is get you to think it's not a blade scar because they're straight, and blade scars aren't straight.
Right.
I think that's what he's
Why
trying
are
to do.
blade scars straight?
Well,
He's
here's
always
what.
go like this.
Oh.
You'll go up and
He's
down.
saying straight up and.
Well, I think he does do that though too. I don't know. I my theory, and I could be wrong. I read this somewhere. Maybe someone else knows better than I do, but I heard that they were hard. Okay, the hard way is when you're getting blood through, means
Real
of-
contact.
Real
Yeah.
contact.
Like, hey, I want to have blood here. I don't want to cut my forehead. Punch me with your knuckle hard
You ever
enough.
done that? You ever had that happen?
No.
I've had that happen.
Really?
Yeah. I was in a swimming pool with a friend, and we were like, and we jumped up for I don't know what we were doing, but we jumped up together and we crashed heads.
Oh.
Foreheads, like just boom, and it
Not
was hard.
intentional.
Not intentional.
Okay.
It wasn't like no, it wasn't intentional. But we crashed heads, and all of a sudden, like, I
Boom.
was just bleeding down
Bleeds
my
incredibly.
nose. Like it's
This part of the head bleeds like you wouldn't.
it's like because it's
So
what makes it
vascular.
kind of it makes it hurt. It stings because it's a crack in your skin. It's not like
Right.
cut.
It's
It's
not
like
deep. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's not
brutal.
fun. It's not fun.
But my theory is that because of the depth of
Yeah.
these scars, and how this is a good chance to go deep here. Let's see.
Yeah, we even see some hair growing out of one of them.
Let's see.
It's like
There is some hair, I think, that he
like
forgot.
cracked pavement when the grass comes in.
Yeah, right. But I think it's the bolt in the turnbuckle. When you take the turnbuckle off of the thing, and there's that bolt.
Yeah.
He talks about taking that.
I think that's
is
what he
clear.
would do. Is that someone would run his head into that,
Yep.
and it would be that like rusty bolt scraping against his. Sorry.
I mean, that's what we're here for. It's
Yeah.
about,
What
it's
it was-
about reactions, right?
One of the first things we said this season on Unheard is because it's fake, it's that
Yes.
much more real.
Yeah.
And because no one's going to
Always
believe it, he's got to do that to himself.
You got to do right. To make people believe, you got to harm yourself more.
That's right.
Than you would if you were in a real fight.
That's why we're fans.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
These scars came from something else, and that was it.
wow.
See?
Wow.
Because they're all straight. See?
And is it true that at one point, like, you could put a poker chip in there?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
I'm glad he did reveal that he used to stick poker chips in
Yeah, there's
his-
video of that him talking about
It's
that.
nuts.
I used to do everything. I used to try to take a dime or something, or a quarter, open up the thing and put it down in there,
Oh,
right? And
fuck my
the
life.
people would take a.
Can you rewind quickly?
Yeah.
What's in his left hand?
Oh, did I miss that?
What's in his left hand, Evan?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Of course he
Oh, look at that
is-
face.
Yeah, look at this.
Horrifying.
Of course he's clutching a fork during the interview.
Yeah, of course, he would attack opponents with forks.
Listen. The bottom line is, if anyone on the crew came within 5 feet,
Yeah, I know.
He did chase someone around, didn't
Yeah, there was a time when the first time we were there, he chased Jason around with a pair
Jesus.
of scissors
Oh my god!
around the house.
That's fine. That's
and
not
he had his walker, and he was it wasn't that threatening, but it was.
I'm sorry. He's still
Yeah.
scare the shit out of me. That
But this-
face right there. No,
but like just
no.
clutching the fork for comfort during this interview.
I mean, I'd invite you to consider a world, JP, where you're awakened in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yes.
there's something unsettling happening
Yeah.
right outside the bedroom window.
It's like, look behind you.
and you look in your half asleep haze out your bedroom window to the left, and there it is. He's looking at you sleeping. Any thoughts?
I think I'd be totally normal and fine.
Okay, good.
I'd be very welcoming to that, like saying, "Oh, come on inside."
It looks like you're hungry. You brought a fork.
Are you hungry? We have some leftover chicken.
Oh, nice. Okay, here we go.
The people would take a. Holy shit. Then they made it stronger. They said, I seen them do it. And I'll tell you one more. And when you see me eating that money, right? I was eating the money. And
Okay. I just have to say, my fiance was walking
Yeah.
in the background while I was previewing this clip for the show.
Yes.
And it's just like talking about like the scars in the head. And when I ate the money, It's just like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah. What do
Like
you
to
do- what do you
anyone, this
do?
is like, what is this content we have
Yes.
here?
Yes.
You know, it's like, Jesus. Sorry. Okay, here we go.
If I went into a club, I would take maybe $100 bill, you know, tear it up, put it in my mouth, and drink it, you know, drink, and have the $100 bill there, but tore up, and I'd be, oh, shit, right?
Oh,
Jesus. That was a working
he's
burp.
he's doing this like party tricks. You know, he's just like
Here, one
he's
more.
working people even when he's not in a wrestling ring.
I know. Crazy, right? Here we go.
Tore up, and I'd be, oh, shit, right? And then I'd take another one, and then I'd pull out, maybe it would be $200 or something, you know, I tore up, and I would take another $100 bill, and I'd go, and I'd get ready to put it in my mouth. Same time I go, they say, did you see him eat that money? Right? And people say, damn, I could have used that myself. I would take an envelope, right? Wrap the money up and send it to my mother. And my mother says, I'm glad he sent this money when he's eating up. Send it to me. But everybody thought that I was eating the thing. It's
Crazy.
It's like you know, my mom calls and like, oh, so what'd you do at work today? Like, what's what's going on in your world? Well, here's what the films I make, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, like,
Here, I got this clip, Mom, about a guy
Yeah.
who's eating money in the club.
Well, there's more he did.
Jesus.
Did the man eat glass? Yes, the man ate glass.
why not?
And how did the man eat glass? But we're going to go to clip 5 for more on that.
Like,
But he is more like revealing. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
he's
won it.
opening.
You've clearly
up.
won him over.
We've won him over to talk about.
shards of glass.
He probably realizes that payday for his biopic isn't coming.
Yeah,
right.
But here's him talking about, because he kind of stumbles into telling you about how he used to put glass in his mouth to make it look like he was chewing glass. That's something a lot of wrestlers did. There's a lot of great wrestlers that chew glass on TV. Yeah. The heels to convince you that they're that crazy, and what are they going to do on Saturday night at the arena if they're willing to do this right
Just
now?
don't. Yeah. I mean,
You don't want to chew glass for us,
no,
boss?
I'm good. I'm
Can't
good.
sign you up for that.
I'm good. No.
So carny.
Maybe tomorrow. But
So he kind of stumbles into talking about it, and then what I love about this clip is then he kind of gets self-conscious about like, wait, why do you want to know so much about how I chew glass?
Oh God,
A little bit of the old Abby comes
I
through.
love it. I love it.
just something different. It was something, I tried everything. I used to take a light bulb, break the light bulb, right? Break the light bulb. But I had false teeth. And I'd go, but I would put Vaseline in here, all in there. I'd go, she said, oh, he's eating our glass. He's the, right? Then when I got finished, I'd go right into the bathroom, pull my false teeth up, clean up, get all that glass, little chips of glass. It wasn't the big pieces. Right there.
Oh my.
Then I used to,
Wait. I don't know. Like the Vaseline, and so he put the glass and it'd stick on the
It'd stick to his dentures, and people didn't know he had dentures, so he could take those out and remove the glass without it penetrating deeper. I mean, it's still incredibly dangerous.
It's incredibly
Yes,
dangerous.
it is.
But it's
sadistic.
You can't pull that off with real teeth because you can't pull them out afterwards.
Right.
Well, you can, but it's messy.
Well, I think we tried to clarify this here, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't. You won't believe his response here. I think you might already know. He
I
doesn't.
actually don't know this one.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
So you were chew glass was the idea.
yeah. But the people would say, damn, I seen him chew glass, stuff like that. Then there was another time,
I love how. Sorry, it's also just like the word of mouth is what they're after. You know, here, like, you know, obviously pre-internet, pre-everything,
yeah.
but the idea was just creating the lore of your character.
totally.
And so, like, if enough people then by word of mouth are like, that fucking guy eats fucking glass.
I'll
you
be
know?
there next time he does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to see this. I'd want to see a
It's no different than the freak show.
It's
no,
carny,
it's-
yeah.
it's carny, yeah, right.
It's
I
carnival
want to
shit.
go to the carnival to see someone eat glass. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So crazy. So old school. Love it. Here we go.
Get ready.
I was eating raw liver.
So the Vaseline would like catch the glass and keep it stuck to it?
Why you
Like
trying
the
to
Vaseline?
why you trying to steal my gimmick or something?
Well,
Wow, that's kind of that's a neat 180 there. Talking about when the other clip he's talking about giving you shit about the gimmick, and now
He doesn't want to tell you what a gimmick is, and now he's telling you
"So
to
wanna
steal my gimmick.
That's
well,
wild.
he
But he's not willing to go there.
No,
he was pretty playful.
Yeah, you can tell he's
Yeah.
happy.
He's playful,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah.
doing this a lot during the interview, and and
That's funny.
It was good stuff.
That's really
Yeah, we're
funny.
seeing a full transformation. You try to steal
Yeah.
my gimmick, you can
Yeah.
only know so much.
Yeah,
of it.
right.
I mean, I'll tell you, but if you're going to ask a follow-up question, that means I may have said too much.
Yeah,
Well,
right, right.
exactly.
That's what I take from that.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so,
I don't follow up. That's him. I
Yeah.
don't follow up.
and getting him to warm up like that was a process,
Oh,
and it involved Red Lobster.
oh.
I wish you could tell us the Abdullah the Butcher Red Lobster story.
Well, okay. This is basically, I guess our methodology at the time during the season 1 pilot era of the show. Again, we were so intimidated by Abdullah. We don't know how this was going to go. We heard all the horror stories of other people trying to extract information from him, right? So we thought, why not break the ice with taking him out to dinner, and that way he can kind of learn more about us, learn where we're coming from, and we can try and find some sort of common ground. And so I called him, and we were talking on the phone, and I was like, we would like to take you out to dinner the night before, just to kind of get to know each other and And I'm like, is there a place that you'd love to go anywhere in Atlanta? Just like, you name it, we'll go. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, this guy's lived here forever. He'll know some like killer barbecue spot or so. That's what my mental image of this was. And so I'm like, so where would you like to go? And then like pause, hearing the wheels turning. And then it was just from the other end of the phone, Red Lobster. and I was just like, oh shit. Okay, we'll go. I guess we'll go to Red Lobster. And so, long story short, next day or when we fly down there, we go to Red Lobster, and we're trying to relate to him, and we just it's a lot of awkward,
Yeah.
non sequiturs that don't go anywhere, and just long silences, and he had some people with him who were there who were kind of threatening and sizing us up. Like he kind of has like his own clique of
Like an entourage.
of people who may have been ex-cons and so on and so forth, who may have been armed perhaps.
Well, it's okay if you do that in Red Lobster.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
What would he know about cod?
Yeah, right.
And he doesn't know anything about ex-cons, that's for sure.
Right.
They're all current cons.
He knows about prawns for sure.
Con carne.
That's exactly it.
got
That's
that
his
right,
favorite.
Yeah.
That's his favorite.
But
prawn
he,
con carne.
so we're trying to make, and of course, like, here comes the waiter, and it's order everything on the menu because he knows we're paying for it.
Of course.
So he's taking us for every penny there.
Listen, he's got to eat for a week. all
Yeah,
right?
no.
Listen,
He
all
was
right?
ordering meals to go
Yes.
for other people who weren't there.
Those
You know?
biscuits.
I know.
No. They
Yeah.
weren't for other people. They're for him.
True. So anyway, we're just like, this is crazy, and we're not really relating. But the whole time he's sizing me up.
Yeah.
And he's saying, okay, what's this guy all about? Because that's what that's the era he comes from, and how can I? Where's my mode of attack to sort of like hustle this guy and hustle him for money? He's always looking for any tells or openings that I have. And like a fucking amateur, I start talking about how my dad was in the entertainment business.
Oh boy.
And then it was like, oh, this guy's
Oh no.
money mark or something. That's
Wheels
what he
turning.
assumed, which is not true. But, wheels are turning. Okay, entertainment business, that equals money. Da-da-da. So after the meal, the next day when we get to his house, he basically wants to pull me away from my crew and sort of intimidate me into giving him more money because we're filming in his house.
Right.
And he gives me this long pitch about, I let you come into my house. I don't let anybody come into my house, and all this stuff. And, you got to give me some more money. You got to give me some more money. I don't let anybody in here, and I'm doing this for you, and I don't ever talk to anybody, and you got to.
Exactly.
And so hustle.
I mean,
And I, and
normal behavior.
the only
Totally
thing
fine.
is, I may have been green, but I also anticipated this.
Well, he's looking for that long green, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
He knows you're green.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh boy, was I ever that. And so, but I had a little hustle fund set aside.
Ah, very smart.
Okay, just to have.
Yeah, we've called it cash for carnies.
Cash
Right.
for
That's
carnies.
exactly right.
Just to know in case this were to happen. I heard legend of this. So, so then I basically told him, look, I got to call the home office and clear it with them and make sure it's okay. And so I did that and I came back, but I stupidly came back with what my max was. So I had no negotiating room. So he was like, that's not enough. I think I was like, I can't remember, I said one number and then he was like, doubled that number. Like if it was 500, he goes 1,000, or whatever. I was like, oh shit. Well, I'm like, no, I can't. And then he pulled out his wallet and he showed me his wallet and he says, you see, and he opened the wallet and there was nothing inside the wallet. He's like,
Okay.
I need money. I don't have any. I got to pay all these people around here to do all this stuff. I don't have any money and I need money. And he started giving me this long thing. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, look, if I give you what you want, I need to get this from you and that from you. We're getting you with the fucking fork in your mouth, and all this shit.
right,
We're going to get everything. And so, he settled on the price that, of course, he wanted for those. And then I'm taking out the hundreds, or whatever, and counting out the hundreds. And then he takes it and he puts it in his wallet and he goes, you should have never told me about your father. And I was like, what, was that my tell? Was my dad the tell? And he's like, nope, I would have gotten you anyway.
That's right.
That's right.
Wow, that's such a great transition because, when talking to Abdullah for an episode on his life, you got into his boyhood. And in the episode, he talks about how he would hustle candy. He would hustle candy at school for a short period of time. He would, buy candy and then resell it at a higher price to his classmates.
Yeah.
That became an issue. And the way he was telling it kind of got him kicked out of a school he was in as a young boy.
Really?
Trying to turn a buck. This is clip 1 we're going into. And what the archives also reveal is that wasn't his only boyhood hustle. He also did one involving newspapers in his hometown of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And so here he's going to tell us a little bit about how early he was learning to, basically do a put on to part people with their money. Right.
And I don't want to get ahead of the clip, but it's also, to me, and now at this point, knowing him more and being able to, relate to him, I guess, in this, it's like it did make me sort of, it humanized him more to me because his hustle is like, that's something that he had to do for survival,
Yeah.
and it comes back to that era. And I'm sure his economic upbringing and, all the other factors into how, what it was like growing up in the 40s, I guess, what it was like. So to me, it actually endeared me more to him and made me understand him more than, he usually lets people understand. And I think he gets emotional here even slightly, or in one of the clips.
Well, he's explaining how part of what he had to do was sort of cry poor.
Right.
But that's part of the hustle.
And that's what happened to me. Yeah.
There's a newspaper one, and then it kind of bleeds into another way he would elicit, let's say, sympathy from people on the streets to get some cash.
Okay.
I love it.
I was selling newspapers. I was shining shoes. I was doing everything to bring money into the house. And I used to sell papers, and I'd stand on the corner and I'd be crying, right? And a man would come up to me and say, son, what's wrong? I said, well, if I don't sell these papers, I can't go home, right? And in those days, a paper cost 5 cents, so I always had 20 papers. So the guy would hand me a couple of dollars and say, go home, will you? So one day, my dad was on the other side of the street of Olet Avenue, and this man was hanging over me, and he was a white fella, and he got up there and he said, my dad, come on, run over. He says, what are you doing to my son? And the guy says, sir, if this is your son, you should be ashamed of yourself for making him stay. Telling him that he can't come home. So my dad grabbed me by the ear and took me all the way home, told my mother what I was doing, panhandling or soliciting or whatever. And my dad says, I got a whooping for doing that. I said, yeah, but I was doing it for, to get money into the house and whatever. So my dad said, no, that don't make no difference. You know what I mean? The way you're doing it is wrong. And that was it.
So you were kind of...
Just to pause right there for a second too, because I remember, just for extra context, in the actual episode, he talks about seeing his mother like scrubbing floors
Yes.
as a job that she would have. And I think that made a profound effect on him to, want to bring more money into the house, as he says. So it's like, he's looking for any way he can do that, but it is for the survival of his family. Because I think they all grew up in like a one-room house or something.
And his dad yet was shamed because he conned people out of money.
Yeah. Find another way to con people out of money, son.
I feel like maybe his dad never was unashamed of him.
Yeah. Well, he certainly found a way to be a showman at the same time.
Right. All right, so let's see what's next.
It is wrong. And that was it.
So you were kind of like almost working people to sell the papers back then.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Yes.
no objection there at this point from Abdullah the Butcher. And, a key part of his mystique was that people didn't think he could talk for years and years. And he would carry this on even when he wasn't on the wrestling television show or in the wrestling ring or arena. He would be out in the general public and he would have to pretend that he did not know how to form a sentence. That was part of the mystique of this guy. And so here in clip 2, he's going to give us... He's going to give us a sense into how far he used to take it. And this is what it would have sounded like if you were a waitress or a waiter back in Abdullah the Butcher's heyday.
Oh, boy.
And approached his table looking to take his order because he's not about to let any old waiter or waitress, to hear him tell it, to let them in on any kind of secret, So what does he...
I wouldn't want to be his... No, if I was being told that I had to be his server, I'd quit.
Well, I'd be like, I'm working overtime, that's for sure.
Right, yeah.
So let's take a listen here. This is clip number 2. Of how he would carry on that part of his mystique when out to dine. No, pardon. Why don't you hit pause on that?
Which one?
This is actually clip number 3 we're looking for. Sorry.
Okay.
Clip number 3.
No. 3. All good.
As he talks about keeping up that side of things.
Okay.
For many years, I didn't talk. I'd go to a restaurant and can I help you, right? I'd go, me, egg, bake. I say bake. Then I'd go.
Is that bacon?
I think it's supposed to be bacon.
I imagine it's bacon.
Egg.
Yeah, you don't want baked eggs. Do you?
Maybe wants freshly baked bread.
He wants an egg bake.
Egg bake. Okay, here we go. Again, my fiance was like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah.
Toast. Right? What do you want to drink? Right? I mean, milk. Oh, okay. And the lady would go back there and say, "Oh, I feel sorry for that guy. He's trying to talk." Yeah.
Clip number 2. We can go back to
my
it.
God,
The hustle never dies.
No.
That's how he kept it alive, even in public. And it turns out that was a big part of the way he got booked in the wrestling business, because he's about to tell the story about the Sheik, who actually is the subject of a future episode this season of Dark Side of the Ring, and who provided a lot of inspiration to Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah, it seems like he borrowed a lot in terms of the commitment to the non-English speaking character, the mystique, the living the gimmick. That I think that comes the violence, the foreign objects.
Oh, sure.
He had already broken into the business under kind of another pseudonym, and he was looking to get booked in Detroit, where the Sheik was the king. He was not only the top bad guy wrestler, he was also the owner of the territory and the promoter, and he made all the money. And he, like you said, he had a very similar gimmick where he was just this fire-throwing, stabbing madman that people were horrified of and came to the arena. Bobo Brazil was his big opposition, the big fiery babyface that would take on the Sheik for years in Detroit wrestling. And, by being a Windsor guy, Detroit proximate, he finds his way backstage at a show that the Sheik was promoting. And he knows that to get the attention of the promoters back there, it might help if they didn't think he knew how to speak English either.
Yes.
There comes a time where you have to give up the ghost because you got to negotiate. But here he tells us how he got to know the Sheik and how he got the Sheik to kind of lean in on hiring him as a wrestler by making the Sheik think he didn't know how to talk English.
And I don't know, much about if this has been out there before, this story. But I think when we were preparing to do this episode, he was like ready to finally spill the beans on
I get the sense,
what his origin story is.
Yep.
Like, how did he get into the business has always been a big question mark, I think. I mean, some people know it has something to do with the Sheik, but this is the specific on that. So here we go.
Well, the Sheik was, he was a hell of a worker. He was the promoter. He made the pays. You understand?
And what do you remember about meeting him when you finally met him?
Well, I was at what do you call it, at Cobo Hall in Detroit, and I was standing up there, but where the wrestlers don't supposed to go, I mean the fans don't supposed to go, I was standing there, right? And Bobo Bazile, the Sheik says, "Who's that guy there? Who's that guy?" So Bobo Bazile came over and he says, "Hey, where are you working at?" I said, "Well, I'm working all over, right?" And he said to me, "Oh, no," but
again.
the way I said it to him, I said, me, working
Bake.
all over, right?
Yeah, you're working
He
all
says,
over, right?
Me working for Bake.
I'm working all over is what
Yes.
he says.
Exactly
Yes.
true.
So
Multiple meanings.
double meanings, but he means that he's already wrestled everywhere else is what
Right.
he's trying to convey.
Right.
But of course that's not true, right?
No, not really. No.
No.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, here we go.
He left me and went back to the Sheik, and he said to, "Hey, this guy's a worker, but he works all over, but he can't speak English good." So when the Sheik came over to me, Sheik said, "Hey man, where you from?" I says, "Me from Windsor, Ontario, Canada." And I'm working for Jack Britton and Bert Ruby, and the guy who broke me in was Gino Brito. Like that. He went back, he told Bobo Bazile, "Shit, that guy can speak English better than me."
You were just messing with him?
Huh?
You were just messing with him?
No, I wanted to get in.
Right.
See?
Wanted to get in.
That's right.
And so he's on his way, to say the very least,
Wow.
in the wrestling business. He actually, at one point, told a story about how he got a job at Ford in Detroit as well by ripping a phone book in half and getting the attention of the people there that were doing some hiring.
Jesus
So
Christ.
he still got his foot in kind of like the real world and the wrestling world. He eventually becomes Abdullah the Butcher and is in demand in territories across the country and Canada for his wild rampaging ways. And but here in this clip, he talks about how as Abdullah the Butcher began to, this is clip number 4, would begin to provoke riots. I mean, you've seen wrestlers,
Yes.
particularly in Japan, if they're perceived as bad and crazy enough, and they go out into the people, they can create an absolute panic.
Yes.
'Cause these people, particularly in a non-litigious society as Japan was in like the 70s and 80s, the fans weren't going to sue you if you attacked them to keep up your character.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy to see the footage of Bruiser Brody, who's basically like windmilling a chain, like a metal chain like this as he's coming out of the arena, or Stan Hansen with the sort of bullwhip and the cowbell.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're whipping this into the crowd and basically trying to create some sort of like, divergent pathway so they can come through the crowd, and you just see them spread.
Yes.
And it's this incredible visual that immediately, it's almost like, I can equate it to, in a weird sense, like a punk show or something, where like
right.
there's like a very like violent and intimidating lead singer who's trying to sort of just create a sense of danger in the performance, and it adds, of course, not only to the mystique, but then when it's time for the match, it's like, whoa, this era of believability. These guys are real, violent, scary people, and I don't want to fuck with them, and it works.
Watching some of the greats at work as we have over the years on Lapsed Fan, like, it's important that the fans believe that you will actually attack them.
Yes.
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 So you don't fuck with them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that. I mean, honestly, as recent as I can share my own little story. I think it was 2015. I went to go see a big time, speaking of Detroit, but not really Detroit, big time wrestling show in Connecticut at a fucking high school gym. And Scott Steiner was on the card and he goes fucking nuts, like doing this hardcore match outside of the ring. And it was petrifying because I was at ringside at that point. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Cause I'm like, I'm afraid he's actually going to just throw a chair, whether or not it's on purpose or not, but he's going to throw a chair and it's going to hit me.
Right. Exactly.
Like that shit.
It's a psychology move that, it suspends disbelief, even to the next degree.
Yeah.
These guys were masters of that.
Keep that danger alive. And so here in this clip, Abdullah really gives us a searing look into what to do when you provoke a riot. When the people, you have to find your way through the people to get to that locker room. And the security is not, you don't have the modern state-of-the-art crowd control barriers and security.
No.
You would have to fight your way to the back as a bad guy. And some of these fans in some of these rowdier cities would try to stab your ass.
Yes.
Okay? Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
Stabbing.
They're retaliating.
So what do you do if you're Abdullah the Butcher and everyone wants to riot and attack you and you're not supposed to be able to talk? How do you quell a riot? How do you stop people from attacking you? What do you do? And this is a little cheat code there.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, the Paul Sauvé, Gino Brito, I'm wrestling him, and I start working on him, He's just dying, and the people are hollering, Gino, 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 and I'm stabbing him.
Stabbing him.
That is
like a movie month.
Jerking off there?
No, he's
Stabbing him.
he's
stabbing the guy?
He looks like it's like a animatronic Halloween lawn decoration.
Yes, that's what he is. Like,
Just a joy.
Look how happy he is. Like,
And can you imagine if you're a fan that thinks it's real and he's smiling while he's stabbing the superhero in the forehead like that?
that'd be awful.
He misses it. He loves it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it got out of hand because at that time, Eddie Creechman was
That was his manager at the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
Eddie
okay.
Creechman.
Okay.
Yep.
my manager. Eddie Creechman would say, my specimen is going to kill all these people here, right? And we got done the thing, and Gino had me, I think, close to the rope or something like that, and Eddie Creechman took his cane and hit him with the cane. I grabbed the cane, and bab, 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 here comes the people.
So now he's just illustrating that the people are now coming towards the ring.
Yes.
And that's when things get bad, when the fans kind of go over that dividing line.
That's when it gets scary. I mean,
That's
Yeah,
what
he's
those
gone too
stories.
far, and we have to stop this injustice.
because they believe they believe and
They believe that even if everything else that happened on the show was phony baloney,
Yep.
this guy's going too far.
Right,
And
right.
I can't risk it actually being real and not
Yeah.
doing something about this.
Yeah.
right.
It's a weird kind of almost bizarre, like humanitarian
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a good
ideology.
good
It's
scenario.
like like you're so
Yeah.
upset that this guy is
You're
hurting
caught
your
up.
hero.
You're also caught up
Yeah.
in the spell of all of this that's happening, and
Yeah.
And you do this so that when the good guy recovers and comes back,
Right.
the roof comes off the place.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
everyone
Of course.
thought he was on the brink of
course.
demise.
right.
Of course. Nowadays they don't care.
But how do you stop these rioters?
Let's see.
That was it.
Wow. And what were the people doing?
Pardon?
And what were the people doing?
Trying to get to me. Shit.
Yeah.
What are they trying to do to me? Shit. If they would have got me, like, if I didn't have the thing to say to myself, if I run, these people are going to tear my ass up. So I just looked up in the air, me, and I walked right towards them. They went, see. Plus, there was some good security. See.
So whenever you would go into the crowd, like back then, people would just always like how would crowds react?
They'd run. Yeah, because I'd be staring at them, looking up. See, your main thing about the business, if you would pick out one person and just stare at them,
Yep.
then they couldn't
Yep.
look at you.
That's right.
Yep.
They'd be going,
Yep.
he's looking at me. See, that was it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
so true.
obviously, like when you see footage of him in his prime, and you're seeing him fight into the crowds and things, and you're doing that, you will catch him doing that, and you'll sort of catch that really scary stare that he gets.
Yep.
Right now, he's
Yep.
kind of he's in a playful mode.
Right.
But when he's at the top of his game, at the height of his powers, putting on that terrifying stare, it makes you. I can see how that could.
It's arresting.
Jesus.
That could stop a crowd from coming at you. Just that look alone, it's crazy.
I mean, you have like this thing where you become, you have that thought in your head of like, if I just pretend I'm totally nuts, this guy's not going to want to attack me.
Right.
And if he can get you to stop in your tracks and look away, because everyone's going to look away, even if they're. But the key insight there is he doesn't run.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The idea is that instead of running away from the danger, he runs towards the danger.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, like that's it. If you're running towards the danger, fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
If he lets on that like you're freaking me out, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Then they will absolutely chase you because they'll smell blood.
Right.
But if you just dial in and don't speak half English and look them in the eye until they look away, you can make your way to the back. And I think
Absolutely.
that's just amazing. Those are lessons wrestlers do not have to learn anymore.
Yeah, I know.
No, that's
tell
just
you.
it. Yeah, no one. You don't get people like that emotional in.
Well, fans
in
will just
matches.
laugh in heels' faces now.
Right, exactly.
Like you'll mad dog a fan at ringside and he'll laugh at you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's again like because there are no. I'm gonna say I guess with everyone knows all the insides and outs of wrestling, but there's also, to me, in my opinion, a lack of ingenuity in the fact that I think you can make people believe. I think you could make people believe. I think you can make people react in a certain way. Maybe they don't 100% believe, but you can make people question if you work hard enough at it.
You can get them swept up into the whole illusion of all of it, for sure.
Like,
I agree.
It's just a shame that there's not really an emphasis put on that because that, that just takes.
It's the magic. That's
exactly.
That's the sort of lightning in a bottle.
Exactly.
Magic. That is really the craft of wrestling. Yes. It isn't. You hear a lot of the people complaining about modern stuff, but it's not really the athleticism part as much as it is the suspension of disbelief part.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like people know that magicians are fake, but they go and see magic shows all the time, right?
Right.
And because they want to be,
they want that moment where they can't figure it out.
But they can't figure it out.
Right.
And it's kind of like, it is more like we talked about, in last week's episode with Kim Wood. It's like that approach to, it is kind of conning an audience into, and the tricks of that trade. And once you can learn that and master that, that's not the thing that's emphasized anymore. It's more about, can you act?
Yeah.
Right.
Can you deliver a line and deliver a move?
Can you deliver? Right. Can you put on an exciting match as opposed to what we always talk about is the drive to win should be the focus. The drive to win, not putting on a great match, not putting on something, for the fan. It's like you need to.
You should be happy getting your business done in 2.5 minutes if you can.
Exactly. Yeah. And not only that, but getting the fans to say, I need this guy to win.
Right.
Then
it's a contest. At the end of the day.
And we've watched some some of the old Coliseum tapes that WWE used to put out, and they have these matches from the 70s with Bruno, Pedro Morales, and you hear the reaction.
I know
from the Madison Square Garden people. Yeah, when the babyface makes a comeback, it's like it's beyond believing. It's like it's powerful. It's powerful.
It's
and guys today, they'd wet themselves over half that fucking reaction.
Well, it's like the home team evening it up in the bottom of the ninth. It's like that energy of just like oh my God, we can get behind. Our team or our person or our thing. And wrestling is great at manipulating those emotions, but that's the craft of it.
Yes. Right.
You gotta know how to, protect people and do moves in the right way, make them look good and all that stuff. But the true artistry is mastering how to manipulate a crowd.
Yeah.
And that is it. And he is one of the best ever.
Because you hardly had to do anything.
Right.
These people to follow them all over the place. And Brody was a lot in that way too.
Totally.
And here on clip 7 with Abdullah, we'll close with this. This is part of, again, the initial interviews from season 1 of Dark Side of the Ring, where you're talking about his friend, Bruiser Brody's murder.
Yeah.
And Abby let you guys in on the fact that, had it not been for his homicide in 1988, there may have been some designs with Brody and Abdullah to go into business for themselves.
Oh boy!
And that may have been no small part of why there was tension in the Puerto Rican wrestling circuit. Anyway, as Bruiser Brody was starting to break out as a money man in his own regard, an owner. a mover, a shaker, an equity stake taker, not just a guy who showed up to collect a one-off payday to kick somebody's ass. So here is what could have been, I guess, with two one-of-a-kind figures that the episode spotlights and features in Abdullah the Butcher. Here, what may have happened had Brody not departed as early as he did and as untimely a way as he did.
Yes, we got along. You understand? But we got along because we knew each other. We knew what we had to do. We knew what we had to draw. We knew if we were going to stay up on top, we had to do what? Know each other, how to work, how to get it done. And that's the way Brody was. Brody never had a shitty match. When any time he went out there and he give 100%. He didn't give a damn if he kicked your head in. And if you couldn't move, he kept stomping you. Mm-hmm. That's how Bruiser Brody was.
So you had a lot of respect for him.
Pardon? Sure, I got a lot of respect for him. And I wish he was here today. Because if he was here today, a lot of these promoters, you understand? Brody had plans what we were going to do of promoting. And something wild like us, with a crew, we could have done what? Anything we wanted to do. You see what I mean? And that was the plan that we talked all the time.
What was the plan that you guys talked about?
Of promoting. You see, we were there working our ass off, excuse my language, working like it's going out of style, right?
I love
and
that.
These guys are trying to rip us off.
And so you guys want to take it in.
And that was a big thing, with Brody in that era. Yeah. Was he was famous for, if there anything went sideways with a promoter, he would just get in the ring, lay in the ring, and he wouldn't work until they literally would, came out and said, okay, we'll pay you what you're, we're not,
tremendous.
And so he was,
tremendous.
he had no bullshit for getting,
No, he immediately jumped to, you're trying to screw me, so I'm going to screw you first.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had a kindred spirit in Abdullah the Butcher.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
So if they had a circuit going around the world, beating the crap out of each other, bleeding all over the place, they could have not had to worry about that. And they saw a future where guys that were this true to what they did could just be their own operation.
Amazing. All right, let's see.
And so you guys want to take it in your own, you want to make your own.
Yeah. Yes. That's what we wanted to do. But then when the thing came up with Brody, gone, that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Abdullah the Butcher here on Dark Side of the Ring Unheard. That will do it for this week's episode. Wonderful to get inside the scars and the head and the head scars of Abdullah the Butcher this week. Don't forget, Dark Side of the Ring Season 6 resumes Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Vice TV with a look at a great foe of Abdullah the Butcher's, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. And then join us next time on Unheard, because we're going to take a look at a former WCW star and bodybuilding marvel, Marcus Buff Bagwell. What an episode that was of the show. A tale of the ups and downs and looking and feeling like $1 million in pro wrestling and all the positives and negatives that could bring.
That's going to be fun.
We're going to see you then, and thanks for joining us once again on Unheard.
So long.